to have one session on this kind of sponsored FTP and STTP regarding NEP 2020. And the AICTE released the document regarding NEP in English as well as some regional languages. So based on that, I'm going to present you the glimpses of NEP 2020 of around 1.5 hour. So in between my presentation, I have some questions also. So as a poll, I will post some questions for you to answer that. Okay. So let's start with an introduction of NEP 2020. Yeah. So sustainable development goals. Okay. In international wise, or there is an agenda for the quality education, that is global education development agenda. What it said is ensures inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So education must reach to all the people of all the age group, and that will also be a quality one. So what is SDG 4, the quality education? It ensures inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So what basically this into is from learning. So earlier the stage is only for learning. Now we are moving towards learning how to learn. Okay, it's not only simply learning, but learning how to learn. Okay, so and more or less the content is very less. Okay, the amount of content what we are delivering is less, but this NEP curriculum and all those things takes us to a different dimension called how to think critically and how to solve problems, how to be creative and multidisciplinary, how to be innovate, adapt and observe new material in novel and changing fields. So this pedagogy must evolve to make education more experimental. It must be more experimental, holistic, integrated, inquiry driven, discovery oriented, learner centered, discussion based and flexible, and of course enjoyable. So this NEP is giving some of the guidelines which evolve around these things, like how to think critically, because education we cannot push all the things content into a community of people like student or any age group. So they are concentrating on these things like think critically, solve problems, etc., etc. So this curriculum, this NEP 2020 deals with all kind of engineering, arts, science, culture, technology, everything. It is for common, all. So this curriculum must include basic arts, crafts, humanities, games, sports, fitness. Languages, literature, culture, and because we already saw this is a multidisciplinary one. Education must be a multidisciplinary one. So this NEP 2020 is pointing out all the areas of studies. So with this introduction, I like to post a small question that all you can participate. Yeah, the question is SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 4, seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by which year? 2030, 2035, 2040, 2045. Yes, sir. It's 2030. So this SDG 4 seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. So with that introduction, I will go into the main core of the NEP 2020. They are having 4 different sections. One is school education, second one is higher education, third one is some other key area of focus, and fourth one is making it happen. Okay. So with this 4 major titles, they are having some subtitles and the guidelines for the each and every section. Let's see first school education. So in the previous academic structure, what we have is we have some basic classes, but it is not strongly a build one. Okay. So the study starts with around 5 to 6. at the age of 5 to 6. The education starts with 5 to 6 years of age. Okay. So from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10th we are studying. After that 11 and 12 it's based on the particular group like science or mathematics or arts groups, like that it will classify. So 10 plus 2 category, previous academic structure, it is having 10 plus 2 category. What this new pedagogical and curricular structure they are defining in NEP is they are creating a strong foundation. Okay. From the age of 3 to 6, like schools, preschools, Anganwadis, so they are having a framed or well structured curriculum for the age group of 3 to 6 before they are going into the grade 1 or class 1. And at the ages of 6 to 8, they are having class 1 and 2. Then another stage from the age of 8 to 11, that is class number 3 to class 5. Next class 6 to class 8, another 3 years. Next class 9 to 12, another 4 years. So this new pedagogical curriculum structure is having 4 different categories. One is foundational, which is up to age of say 8. Next one is preparatory, which is up to the age of 11. Then middle, it is 14. And the secondary, it is 18. So they are having a structure of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. This is what they are going to have in the new pedagogical and curricular structure. So here they are creating a strong base of early childhood care and education, what they called as ECCE, from the age group of 3. What is this ECCE is? This is a foundation of learning, as I told already. So foundation of learning, it's up to age of 8. What they are having is, they are having a ECCE curriculum, okay, which ensures healthy brain development and growth. Because we know the fact that over 80%, 85% of a child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. So at that age, they are creating a strong base to progress further. Okay. The aim of ECCE will be to attain an optimal outcome in the following domain, like physical and motor development, cognitive development, socio-emotional ethical development, cultural and artistic development, the development of communication, early language literacy and numeracy. This is what they are studying, because in Palwadi or Anganwadi, they starts to read the letters or read the things or numbers, their movement of running, their movement of physical movement. So they are focusing mainly on these things. So for that, ECCE, a national curricular and pedagogical framework was developed, which is developed by NCERT in 2 parts. Earlier we saw that for the age group of 0 to 3 we are having a framework, and 3 to 8 we are having another framework. These curricular will be implemented by the help of standalone Anganwadis, and Anganwadis co-located with the primary schools or pre-primary schools or standalone preschools. So they are creating a strong curricular which is developed by NCERT of 2 structure, 0 to 3 and 3 to 8. And the teachers in the Anganwadis or preschools have to be trained. So training in accordance with the curricular or pedagogical framework need to be given to the teachers. For that, those who are having a qualification of 10+2, they have some 6 months of certificate program in ECCE, and with the lower qualification they need to do 1 year of diploma program. Okay. And there are some remote locations like tribal dominated areas and remote locations there need special attention, like economically weak regions. That kind of areas need some special attentions. There they are having some ashramas, asramashalas, and some place kind of schools. There also they are introducing this ECCE. That means the basic foundation need to be very strong in order to progress further. Poll number 2, the fact saying that over how many percentage of child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6? The answer is 85%. This is what I saw. We saw there. The second one is foundational literacy and numeracy. So for attaining the foundational literacy and numeracy, which is in Anganwadis and preschools, what are some necessary prerequisites to learning? So to have the teachers. Okay. So India is divided with number of region with the number of local languages. So in a particular location, a local teacher with a knowledge of local languages can give these foundational literacy and numeracy in a very strong manner. Okay. So that need to be employed. Employing a local teachers or those with a familiarity with the local languages. And regarding the pupil and teacher ratio, that must be under 30:1, and in special cases like socio-economically disadvantaged area, that PTR of under 25:1. And there are places where students are not going to the schools at early age because of the poverty or some other reason. For that, midday lunch will be provided to the students to attract them to come to the school. Other than that, they can also provide it with some energizing breakfast. Okay. And digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. Diksha is a national repository where you have the huge amount of information regarding this. And third important point is curtailing the dropout rates. The dropout from the school is increasing when it is going from grade 6 to grade 12. So this is the survey conducted by NSSO in 2017 and 18. That number of dropout students is 3.22 crore between the age group of 6 to 17. So how to curtail these things? This is the fact saying that cross enrollment ratio GER is decreasing from 91% to 56.5% when we are going up from grade 6 to grade 12. So how we can reduce this dropout rate is ensuring the quality. So whatever we are giving, that quality must be there with effective and sufficient infrastructure and tracking the students and their learning levels. Continuous tracking, monitoring must be there. And those who came out of the school, they are having some different plan like open and distant learning, ODL programs, which is offered by the National Institute of Open Schooling, NIOS, and state open schools. There you have different grades like A, B, C level of programs, secondary education programs, vocational education courses. So which is very, very important. Vocational education course, you see country like US, Europe, Korea, they are having a strong vocational education curriculum. Whereas in India it is very, very less. That we will see in the later slides. And adult literacy and life enrichment programs. So these things can be given. For that you can have the support from the literate volunteers, retired scientists or government employees, alumni of particular schools or college, and some private educators. So they can support this open and distant learning in order to provide the quality education to the dropouts, which means we are giving a education to all of us, because the fact says the dropout percentage is increasing when it goes to the higher standards. Then the curriculum and pedagogy in schools. Yes, already said we have different stages of education in the NEP 2020, like foundational stage of 5 years, preparatory stage, which is 3 years, middle stage, again 3 years, and secondary stage, which is 4 years. So 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So foundational stage, we are having flexible and multi-level play and activity based, which is framed by, that curriculum is framed by, or pedagogy is ECCE pedagogy. In the preparatory stage, so what they are focusing is education which is building on play, discovery and activity based again, and incorporate some textbooks like reading local languages, basic sciences, environmental sciences, like, so that kind of textbook can be incorporated in the preparatory stage, and formal but interactive classroom learning. So as usual, what we are following now is a classroom learning, but that must be a interactive one. And middle stage of 3 years, introduction of subject, teachers of learning and discussion. You can introduce the different subjects like sciences, mathematics, arts, social science and humanities, etc., etc. And experimental learning with each subject. So you can introduce the practical of these subjects like mathematics, sciences, you can introduce the practicals. And exploration of relations among different subjects. How we can apply the things, like what we are studying in the mathematics, how we are applying in science, what we are studying in the science, how we are applying in the engineering, whatever it is, that application or correlation between the different subjects can be taught there. In the secondary stage, which is 4 years, it should include the multidisciplinary studies like a greater critical thinking, greater attention to life aspirations, and greater flexibility and student choice of subjects. That is what we are doing it in the 10+2 category. Like last 2 years, we are choosing our own subject, which subject we need to study based on the interest of the student. The holistic development of the learner. These are all the things in the secondary stage. and reduce the curriculum content to enhance the essential learning and critical thinking. This is what we discussed earlier. The content is not an important. So we are reducing the content, but we are creating a environmental for critical thinking, problem solving, multidisciplinary studies. These things will be introduced. And experimental learning, yes, practical things. Multilingual and power of language. National curriculum framework for school education. National textbooks with local content and flavors. Transforming assessment for student development. Assessment can be of different one. We can have a different assessment techniques. And support for gifted students or students with a special talents. So we can offer a special support to gifted students with the talents. So with this, another question. As per the 75th round household survey by the NSSO in 2017 to 2017-18, the number out of school children in the age group of 6 to 17 years is A 3.11 crore, B 3.22 crore, C 3.33 crore, D 3.44 crore.
3.23 crore.
Yes, sir. It is 3.22 crore. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So next comes the important pillar in the point to discuss. Teachers. So what they are telling is in the NEP manual itself, teachers are the futures of our nation because we are creating the future for our nation, the students. So how the teachers could be, they are having different kind of roles, like from the recruitment and deployment itself, the training, everything they are discussing in the manual. So how the recruitment and deployment will be, that merit-based scholarship for the studying quality 4-year integrated B.Ed programs. Local people, like what we said earlier. Excessive teacher transfer will be altered. There should not be any transfer, multiple transfers here and there. That should be halted. That should be stopped. And teacher eligibility tests will be strengthened to ensure an adequate number of teachers across the subject. So there are some remote locations where only schools and students will be present, but there will be no teacher, or the number of teachers, they are coming and going out. So which will affect the students' education. So that it need to be ensure that adequate number of teachers across the subject, and to hire the local eminent persons or expert as a master instructor. Okay. So because that people from the particular region will understand the environment of the particular location. That's why it's to hire the local eminent persons and technology based comprehensive teacher recruitment planning for forecasting exercise. Okay. Service environment and culture to maximize the ability of the teachers to do their jobs effectively. So basically some basic amenities to be ensured, like adequate and safe infrastructures, school complex. So what they are telling is in school complex is the sharing best practices with each other. There are a number of schools which are connected, so that the resources, like from teachers to the textbook content, everything they can be shared in between them or among them. So school complexes, then teacher as a member of school management committee. So this will boost the confidence of the teacher, because when the teacher is involving in a management committee, because that needs some administration skill also. Then to prevent a large time spent on non-teaching, that is, they may fully concentrate on their teaching learning duties. So the non-teaching type of activities need to be reduced. Then teacher will given a more autonomy in choosing aspects of pedagogy, because they need to give a full autonomy to prepare their own content, the delivering methodology, assessment techniques. So in order to achieve the targeted outcome. So the starting path and the end part must be declared, but in between, how they are delivering the classes, how they are conducting the assessments, everything is given more autonomy to the teacher. The CPT, continuous professional development. So teachers need also give some trainings and development in their profession. So continuous professional development activity, at least 50 hours of continuous professional development activity per year as teacher must undergo. So continuous opportunity for the self-improvement. This is for the self-improvement. That is, this FTP is one of that. From form of local, regional, state, national and international workshops, programs, everything. It starts from the local workshops to the international workshop. That needs to be provided to the teachers. Systematically cover the latest pedagogies regarding the foundational literacy and numeracy, formative and adaptive assessment of learning outcomes, competency-based learning, and related pedagogies such as experimental learning, arts integrated, sports integrated, and storytelling based approaches, etc. So these things need be continuously given as a continuous professional development for the teachers. Career management and progression. Those teachers doing well or those performing well must be recognized and promoted, or some incentives, merit based, can be given, and that will ensure a career growth of a particular teacher. In some cases, they can be promoted to the management committee also, if they are really talented and outstanding. So the professional standard for the teacher in this, a national professional standard for teacher, NPST, by the professional standard setting body PSSB under the General Education Counseling in consultation with NCERT and state CERTs. Okay, by 2020 they are giving standard teacher must possess. And there are places, or there are children with some disabilities. They need some special attention. They need some special care to deliver or to educate them. So for that, we need special educators, for teachers for the children with disabilities or special learning disabilities like subject teaching knowledge. For that, they should have subject teaching knowledge as well as some relevant skill for understanding the special requirement of a particular child. So, how we can promote the education studies like B.Ed? the teacher education into a multidisciplinary college and universities by 2030. So what is the minimum qualification is 4-year integrated B.Ed degree, Bachelor of Education. Or we can have 2-year of B.Ed degree or bachelor degree, 4-year bachelor degree or master degree plus 1-year B.Ed degree. Okay. All B.Ed programs will be included strong practicum training. So practical must be there. What they are telling in practicum training is they need to go into a school to teach a classroom environment, to adapt with the classroom environment. That also they need to be practice. And shorter post B.Ed certification courses. The National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education must be developed by NCFTE by 2021. So the minimum qualification what they are giving is 4-year integrated B.Ed degree, or either they must do 4-year integrated B.Ed degree, 2-year B.Ed degree with a bachelor degree, 4-year bachelor degree. If they are having a master, they need to do 1 year of B.Ed degree. So equitable and inclusive education, which is learning for all. So steady progress towards the bridging. There are some gap which is still persists in our society, which is the first one is gender identities like male, female. So before certain decade, we are having that the female, they are not going to the school. They are made to take care of the family. So nowadays, we changed a lot. So that need to be addressed. Still, there are these things in some places. So still it need to be addressed. Socio-cultural identities, geographical identities, disabilities, socio-economic conditions in all level of school education. These things need to be addressed in all level of school education, and this NEB is discussing all these things. Then efficient resourcing and effective governance through school complexes and clusters. This is what they are insisting, that school complexes and clusters means to group certain schools so that they can create a school complex. There they have some adequate number of counselors who are trained social workers and teachers, and adequate resources, a sense of community, joint professional activities. So they can share the things, because in one school they are having some best practices to teach certain area of the arts or science or history. That can be shared with the another school which is in the complex, which is in the group. And cooperation and support across the school for the education of the children with the disabilities. This need to be addressed, because in SDG 4 they are giving this is education is for all, that quality education is for all. Their agenda is that one, SDG 4, Sustainable Development Goal 4. Okay, so the children with disability will also get a quality education. For that, the adequate support should be given. Then improved governance of the schooling system. That is, a teacher can be included in a management committee or these kind of things. The standard setting and accreditation for the school education. So nowadays, for all the colleges, we are having some accreditation from the NAG or some accreditation from the NBA for the programs. So all we are having, we are fixing a benchmark, or we are fixing a, so for how the school education standard and accreditations are setting. So Department of School Education. So we all know that. So for each state we are having a Department of School Education. They are the overall monitoring and policy makers. From that we are having State School Standard Authority, which is an independent state body to establish a professional and quality standard. Okay, and academic matters, including academic standards and curricula in the state, will be led by SCERT. Okay, so they are classifying their roles. So who will taking care of the academic and academic related activities, and who will taking care of the standards and accreditation related activities. Okay, the SSSA, that State School Standard Authority, will take care of the standard and professional standards, and this SCERT will take care of the curriculum related things. Right, with this I am having another poll. Each teacher will be expected to participate in at least how many hours of continuous professional development opportunities, that is CPD, every year for their own professional development, driven by their own interests, which is very, very important, driven by their own interest. A 40 hours, B 45 hours, C 50 hours, and D is 55 hours. Answers? Answer. Each teacher will be expected to participate in at least how many hours of CPD opportunities every year for their own professional development, driven by their own interest. The answer is 50 hours. Okay. The next is the quality universities and colleges. Okay. So we are talking about the curriculum, teachers, how the universities and colleges will be. A new and forward-looking vision for India's higher education system. A large and multidisciplinary university and colleges, at least one in or near every district. So at every district, they must have at least a large multidisciplinary universities and more multidisciplinary undergraduate education, and faculty and institutional autonomy. So this is what we are aiming, that autonomy. Revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support. So these need to be revamped. That establishment of the National Research Foundation, because in the higher education we need to be, because up to this we studied about the school education. Okay, this is a higher education. When we are going for the higher education, the part 2, the research is one of the important thing. Light but tight regulation by a single regulator for the higher education. That institutional restructuring and consolidation, that HEI, Higher Education Institute clusters must be created. Moving to the large multidisciplinary universities and HEI clusters. And university will mean a multidisciplinary institution with high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. So they are having some different category like university, colleges, that autonomous colleges like. So what they mean, university is a multidisciplinary institution with high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. So they are classifying some 3 categories like research intensive universities, teaching intensive universities, autonomous degree granting colleges, AC. So what is the research intensive university? They are giving an equal importance to teaching as well as research. the teaching intensive colleges, they are giving a more importance or more emphasis on teaching, but still they are having some significant research works. And autonomous degree granting college AC, which is smaller than a typical university. So with appropriate accreditation, an autonomous degree granting college could evolve into a research intensive or a teaching intensive university. And autonomous colleges need to have some continuous progression. They may develop into a research intensive university or teaching intensive university. By 2030, all higher education institution will plan to become a multidisciplinary and one HEI in every district by 2030. That medium of instruction in local and Indian languages are bilingual. So we can promote that also. The aim will be to increase the cross enrollment ratio to 50% by 2030 from 26.3% as on 2018. So we are having a gross enrollment ratio for the higher education is 26.3 as on 2018. That need to be improved to 50% by 2030. And open distance learning and online programs with standard and quality equivalent. And university worldwide higher learning that offers undergraduate, graduate and PhD programs. Worldwide university means they need to offer undergraduate, graduate and PhD programs. So towards a more holistics and multidisciplinary education. So integrating the humanities and arts with science, technology and engineering and mathematics, STEM, what we are called science, technology, engineering and mathematics. We are here that positive learning outcomes, increased creativity and innovation, that critical thinking and higher order thinking capacities, problem solving abilities, teamwork, communication skills. These needs to be inculcated to the students, these kind of qualities. And research is also improved and enhanced. And flexibility in the curriculum. So majority of the colleges, they are going for credit based systems, choice based credit systems. So that flexibility in the curriculum, students have the rights to choose their subjects, like flexibility in the curriculum on novel and engaging the course options, credit based courses and projects. That project must be of community engagement or service or environmental education and value based educations. These things can be do it as a credit based courses, and opportunities for the internship with the local internships. So when we are moving into the higher education, these things are very important, like opportunities for internships. The engineering or technology student, they can do an internship in the industry, or business people, they can do it in the industries or their relevant areas, as well as they can do a internship in the research also, which is called as research internships. The undergraduate degree will be of either 3-year or 4-year duration with the multiple exit options. So what is multiple exit options that they are defining is, so if a course is for 3 year and they can do a 1 year of internship or research internship, okay, whatever a student want. Actually, he finished the college in 3 years, and in the 4th year they can do it like that. An academic bank of credit shall be established, which would digitally store the academic credits earned from the various recognized HEIs. Master programs, a 2-year program. In that, second year will be devoted to the research for those who completed a 3-year bachelor program. If 1-year program for those completed a 4-year bachelor program with research. Okay, so they are having a different category for the master programs also. That master program can also be an integrated 5-year bachelor cum master program. That majority of our institutions in India they are offering. And undertaking a PhD shall require either a master degree or a 4-year bachelor degree with research. Then focus on the research and innovation. So with that, another question. Research intensive universities are those that place an equal emphasis on teaching and research. Teaching intensive universities are those that place a greater emphasis on teaching but still conduct a significant research. With these two statements, both the statements are correct, both the statements are wrong. Only statement 1 is correct and only statement 2 is correct. So with the options, 4 options, any answer? Both the answers are correct, right? Both the statements are correct. Research intensive university means they are having an equal emphasis on research and teaching. Teaching intensive university means they are having greater emphasis on teaching, still they are doing some significant research works. All right. Answer is both the statements are correct. Then optimum learning environment and support for the student. So in the higher education, the student must be given as a good environment for learning. That comprehensive approach like appropriate curriculum, engaging pedagogy, continuous formative assessment and adequate student support. The curriculum must be a interesting and relevant one and must update regularly. That high quality pedagogy to successfully impart the curriculum material to the student, and assessment methods that scientific designed to continuously improve the learning and test the application of the knowledge, because in the higher education the outcome must test the application of the knowledge. That must be a outcome to test the application of the knowledge and promote the student wellness like fitness, good health, psychosocial well-being, like okay. Then motivated, energized and capable faculty. This is earlier we in school education we discussed about the teachers. The same thing here in higher education also, that that faculty must be motivated, energized faculty and capable of doing the things. So equipped with the basic infrastructures and facilities, adequate time for the interaction with the students, because with the collaboration with the students only we can do some activities like research, any kind of new innovations like we can do. Like so, adequate time for the interaction with the students, conducting research and other university activities, freedom to design their own curriculum, like what we said earlier in the school education also. Here also that teacher must have a freedom to design their things like curriculum, pedagogical approaches, but everything must be within a framework, approved framework. So including textbook and reading material selection, assignment, assessment, everything must be given to the choice of the teacher. Excellence will be further invented, like the same faculty which with some exceptional quality must be promoted or recognized, and sometimes they can given a institutional leadership roles. Okay. Then equity and inclusion in the higher education. So here we are taking two different scenario. One is steps taken by the government, another one is step taken by the all higher education institution, HEIs. So government funds for the education, for the sustainable growth. So funding is a very important that government needs to undertake or need to take care, and establishing the more high quality HES. Okay. So already we discussed at every district we must have a one HEA, or so for that they need to establish a high quality HEAs, clear target for the higher GER and enhance the gender balance. Okay, so GER must be 50% by the end of 2030. So for that the target must be clear, because in 2030 we are having 50% means that should be a continual improvement or continuous improvement, because at test stage we cannot attain 50% from 23.8% as on now. Then development and support high quality HCS that teach in local and Indian languages or bilingual. Okay, so we need to have a HCI with teaching content in the local languages. Provide more financial assistance and scholarships. Okay, financial assistance to the students and teachers also, because they are doing some research work in collaboration with some other institution. They need some financial assistance. And then develop and support technology tools for the better participation and learning outcomes. They need to develop like Diksha, like kind of things, and Swayam is there. So like kind of things, they need to develop the technology tools. Then steps to be taken for all HEAs that mitigate opportunity cost and fees for pursuing higher education. Mitigate opportunity costs and provide more financial assistance and scholarship to the socio-economically disadvantaged students. Those students coming from the socio-economically weaker section, they need to be provided with some special assistance. Then the admission processes and curriculum more inclusive. That must be of, there should not be any difficulty with that. It should be some to the point. Okay. Then increasing employability potential of higher education programs. So employability is the one of the major thing nowadays. So we need to increase the potential for employability. Develop more degree courses taught in Indian language and bilingual. Both. This is for government also. There need to be create HCA. Here they need to create the HCS need to create a more programs or more degree courses. Then ensure all the facilities or the wheelchair access and disabled friendly. Like there are disabled students with some different kind of disabilities. For them, the environment or the infrastructure need to be created, and develop bridge courses for students, those who came from the rural background or disadvantaged education backgrounds, because they in the communication. So HEA should arrange a platform to develop their communication. It is the duty of the HCA. So in the form of bridge courses. Then teacher education, again, that all the teacher education programs must be conducted within a composite multidisciplinary institution. We'll also run B.Ed programs in collaboration with other departments such as psychology, physiology, philosophy, sociology, etc. The faculty profile in the Department of Education will necessarily aim to be diverse, and but teaching field research experience will be of high value. So even nowadays, those who are coming from the industry experience or research experience, they are highly valued in the institutions. Okay. All fresh PhD entrants will be required to take a credit-based course in teaching, education, pedagogy, or writing related to their chosen PhD subjects. Because in school system we are having a B.Ed, Bachelor of Education, everything. But in the higher education, in particular in technical universities or technical things, we don't have any that kind of thing. So all the fresh PhD entrants will have some credit-based courses. Reimagining the vocational education. I discussed earlier regarding the vocational education or vocational programs. Countries like US, Germany, South Korea, they are having a high percentage of vocational education. But India, you can see it is less than 5% only. That farmer vocational education. The thing is, out of all the system of education we are having, like engineering, arts, science, these things, the vocational is looked into a low priority one. That's why the formal vocational education is less than 5% in India. So that announcement of National Skill Qualification Framework NSQF in 2013 is supporting to improve the vocational education in India. By 2025, at least 50% learners through the schools and higher education shall have exposure to the vocational education. That Lok Vidya, that important vocational knowledge developed in India will be made accessible to the student through integration into a vocational education course. So that every student must undergo this vocational kind of education. And catalyzing quality academic research in all fields through a new National Research Foundation, NRF. So in the higher education, the research is one of the inbuilt component. We cannot separate research and higher education studies. The research and innovation at the education institution in India, particularly those that are engaged in higher education, is a critical one. That policy envisions the establishment of National Research Foundation, NRF. The NRF will provide a reliable base of merit-based but equitable peer-reviewed research funding, and is competitively fund research in all disciplines, and successful research will be recognized. Like these are all the some of the funding agencies like DST, DAE, DPT, ICAR, ICMR, ICHR and UGC. The primary activities of the NRF will be, National Research Foundation will be, fund competitive and peer-reviewed grant proposals across all disciplines, and seed, grow and facilitate research at academic institutions, particularly at university and colleges. These things we all know. So because even now also we are doing these things, that they are in NEP also, they are continuing that. Act as a liaison between the researchers and relevant branch of government as well as industry, so as to allow the breakthrough, because the industry people, they know what is the current breakthrough in the technology. So this NRF must be in between the institute and the government and industry, so as to update the breakthroughs. Then to recognize the outstanding research and progress. Then transforming the regulatory system of higher education. So as we saw in the school education, in higher education also, we are having different kind of regulatory bodies or councils to play with. But Higher Education Commission of India, HECI, they are having the four major works like regulation, accreditation, funding, and academic standard setting. This National Higher Education Regulatory Council, they are dealing with the regulation part, NHERC, and National Accreditation Council, NAC, they are dealing with the accreditation part. They are going to deal with the accreditation part, and Higher Education Grant Council for funding, and professional standard setting bodies like PSSP, they are going to play with the academic standard setting. Then effective governance and leadership for the higher education institution. That all the HEIs in India will aim to become independent self-governing institution, that is autonomy institution pursuing innovation and excellence. The board of governance shall be established consisting of a group of qualified and educated individuals. That BOG shall be the responsible and accountable to the stakeholders through transparent self-disclosures of all the relevant records. That governance must be open to that. They are the responsible and accountable for the things which has happened in between stakeholders and the institutions, everything. The leaders of an HCI should have strong alignment to the constitutional values, strong social commitments, belief in teamwork, the ability to work with diverse people, etc., etc. So with this, again another question. The 12th five-year plan, 2012 to 2017, estimated that the Indian workforce in the age group of 19 to 24 received a formal vocational education. A 52%, B 75, C 96, and D is less than 5%. The answer is less than 5%, because some other countries like USA is having 52% and South Korea is having 96%, but in India the formal vocational education is less than 5%, right? Okay. So with this, the higher education part of NEP 2020 is completed, and the next one is the other key area of focus. They are focusing on the professional education. The professional education an integral part of overall higher education system. So like standalone agricultural universities, legal universities, health science universities, technical universities, and standalone institution in other fields aims to become multidisciplinary institution offering multidisciplinary education and preferring professionals in cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence, 3D machining, big data analysis, machine learning, etc. Because these are all the some recent current trends in the technology. Then adult education and lifelong learning. An outstanding adult education curriculum framework developed by NCERT, the curriculum framework for the adult education. It's having foundational literacy and numeracy, critical life skills, vocational skill development, basic education, continuing education. So the curriculum framework that the NCERT is focusing on these things, like use the school or school complexes after school hours and on weekends for the adult and lifelong learning. Instructor will be trained by the national, state, and district level resource support institutions. Then efforts to ensure the participation of the community members in adult education. To enhance online accessibility of library books. Quality technology-based options for adult learning such as applications, apps, mobile apps, online courses and models, satellite-based TV channels, online books, and ICT-equipped libraries and adult education centers, etc. And promotion of Indian languages, arts, and culture. We all know that India is the huge amount of history in arts, culture, and everything. That strong sense and knowledge of their own culture, history, arts, and languages and tradition, that must be known to all. So to promote that also, we need to create a awareness to the people. Like children can build a positive cultural identity and self-esteem through Ek Bharat, Srastha Bharat. 100 tourist destination in the country is identified. Through this, around 100 tourist destinations was identified. Efforts to preserve and promote all Indian languages, including classical, tribal, and endangered language, will be taken on with the new vigorous. Because as far as Indian language is concerned, the next slide, UNESCO has declared around 197 Indian languages are as endangered. So UNESCO, they are declared that around 197. There are scripted or unscripted. There are number of endangered languages of India is announced by UNESCO, 197. The technology use and integration. So India is a global leader in information communication technology and other cutting edge domains like what we saw earlier, like artificial intelligence, 3D machining, like machine learning, big data analysis, everything. And National Education Technology Forum, NET, it's provide independent evidence-based advice on technology-based interventions, build an intellectual and institutional capacities in education technology, envision strategy thrust areas in this domain, articulate new direction for research and innovation, teaching learning e-content, that is TIXA platform, what we saw earlier, that e-content material. Then in contrast with artificial intelligence, National Research Foundation may consider a three-pronged approach, that advancing core AI research, developing and deploying the application-based research, and advancing international research efforts to address global challenges in the area of healthcare, agriculture, and climate change, etc., using AI. And PhD and master programs in the core areas such as machine learning as well as multidisciplinary in combined with the artificial intelligence. Okay, you can combine this artificial intelligence with the healthcare, agricultural, laws, everything, and develop and disseminate the course in these areas like through Swayam, NPTEL, like online courses. So with that, the number of, another question, the number of Indian languages declared as endangered by UNESCO is 1, 95, 96, 97, 98. It is 197 is the number of Indian languages declared as endangered by UNESCO. And online and digital education, ensuring the equitable use of technology. So because situation arises like nowadays, everything is happening through online only, that education. The use of technology for online and digital education adequately addresses the concern of equity and suitable training and development to the teachers, because nowadays we all very much aware of that online tools, but still there are number of things available, and importance and challenges in the online assessments. This policy recommends the following key initiatives like pilot studies on online education, digital infrastructure, and online teaching platform and tools. There are a number of things. Content creation, digital repository, and dissemination of information on things, e-content, addressing the digital divide, virtual labs. There are a number of IITs, they are creating virtual labs, and training and incentives for the teachers, online assessment and examinations, blended model of learning, and laying down the standards. So these are also some other key areas which is on focus, and making it happen. How any policies, anything will be successful upon the implementation and running. Okay, so strengthening the Central Advisory Board of Education. Like implementation demands a long-term vision. Available sudden on the next day we cannot achieve everything. So it needs a long-term vision. Then available sustained basis and concentrated action for all concerned. And policy recommends strengthening and empowering the Central Advisory Board of Education, CABE, which is responsible for developing, articulating, evaluating, and revising the vision of education on a continuous basis in close collaboration with the MHRD and state body. And there is a redesignated ministry called Ministry of Human Research and Development. MHRD be redesignated as a Ministry of Education, MOE. Then financing is also very, very important for adorable and quality education for all. So financing support will be provided to the various critical elements and components of education. On-time expenditure, one-time expenditure like infrastructure and resources, and funding for long-term thrust areas like ensuring the universal access, learning resources, student safety and well-being, number of teachers and staff members, teachers development, and for socio-economically disadvantaged group. So implementation requires multiple initiatives, not only through the central or from the state also. Number of players are there in the implementation. So in the decade of 2030 to 2040, the entire policy will be in operational mode, and that review will be the next manual or next creation. Okay, so with that implementation of NEP 2030 in the decade 2030 to 2040, this policy will be in the operation mode, and the reviews regarding the plus and minuses, everything will be prepared on continuous basis. Okay, so this document is available with this address, so you can easily get the document in English as well as some regional languages. So this is the reference document from where these things, this content will be prepared. So with this, I thank you all for your continuous patience, and thank you all. So this is your feedback link. I will post it on the chat box. So your feedback link is posted on the chat box. You can give your valuable feedback about this session and the content delivery of this session. And your afternoon session will start at 1:30 p.m. Thank you, one and all.